Yo, yo. Looks like we got one person here, whoever you are. Oh, never mind. The number just updated. Okay, never mind. Thought we had one person hanging out. I was going to say we're going to have one real cool person. What's going on? What's going on? We're going to do Friday stream because yesterday we got busy. All right, we got busy. Okay. And now we're not busy because it's Friday night. So here we are. Top Dog, what up? Ryan, yo. I'm pretty sure I just ran an. I got Ad Manager finally working in OBS so I can see when the ads are coming too. And I think I was able to slip in like a minute 30 ad before, so we got like 30 minutes of no ads. Except for I think you get pre-roll when you come in or something, which is like normal for Twitch. You'll get like pre-roll ads, but if you're subbed, you get no ads. So boom. What's going on? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I'm gonna be honest, for the 7 people that are here, I kind of already have in mind what I'd like to do with the agenda. It's malleable. We can put up a poll, we can change it, but I had 2 kind of things that I wanted to do today. Otherwise, I don't know. We can do something else. Get her done. I found this at the store the other day. We got some Topo Chico lime with mint. We're hydrated since it's just sparkling water. I mean, it's not special. No caffeine or anything, sadly. No caffeine and or alcohol. No, just water, just a little carbonated water, but we're feeling refreshed. I found these. They're delicious. So we're in. Work week is over. Gonna do a little Friday stream. Bring us into the weekend. Just had a flat white. There you go. Okay, so here's kind of what I had in mind. We can let a few other people, come in here, whatever, but normally by this point in time we got a decent number. So this is kind of what I had in mind. Nice little chill Friday stream. We do 2 things. So the first thing is, since I'm hoping and praying that if you're here in the stream, then you must also have a similar interest to me, which would mean you probably watch the Critical Thinking Bug Bounty podcast, in which they had a recent episode yesterday that went over VDP stuff like we talked about in the last stream. So technically speaking, I beat them to the content. Their content was much better. They went over it way better than we did on Tuesday. We just kind of rambled. They went over it way better because they obviously have way more context. But not the VDP stuff is the thing that I kind of wanted to follow up on. But during the episode, the thing that caught my attention the most was Justin Reiner talked multiple times about how he actually really seems to pay attention to the bounty table. And he won't touch things unless there's a certain bounty threshold. Otherwise he just won't hack on it no matter what it is. So he also talks about how he really likes hacking on things where he uses the product. Yeah, so I thought he said something for highs too. So I remember the 750 for mediums and the 20k for crits sounded right, because I think he said no to 5k crits. So it was either 10k or 20k for crits. But I think he had something for highs too. But I was gonna say, because I know the show notes just went live, so I was gonna check the show notes first and see if there was something there, because seems legit. I'm trying to why. There we go. So let's go here. Bum. Okay, latest show notes. We'll pull these over here. Oh wait, this is not the latest show notes, Lamau. That's okay. We'll find the latest show notes. Here we go, VDPs. Okay, so I was 1 too soon, but that's fine. We'll be fine. Yep. So let's see. Come on. So let's see if he mentions it in here. Worsening experience, free labor. Okay, so that was the tweet. I'm just curious. It might not actually end up being in the show notes. He may not have put it in the show notes just because it's like a pretty particular like thing of like hitting numbers. But I what I wanted to do before we actually go and like try and find the numbers, the first thing I wanted to do was I was curious, like what that looks like against actual programs, like what someone like Justin might be looking, like what programs he might actually be looking at least from what we can see, right, from like a public program standpoint, because obviously we can't talk about private programs on both HackerOne and BugCrowd, as well as like he mentions that like you could, you know, then there's the what he calls mid-grade or mid-tier, whatever he calls it, hackers, not as like a skill thing but as like a willing to like lessen your bounty thing. And I'm curious, like what I've never actually looked at it, but like if you go for like half of what Justin has, like what, like how many more programs that opens up for you. So I kind of wanted to do that. Yeah, see, but the thing is actually, so the private invites thing, I know you and I talked about it like offline in like one of our channels or whatever, but one of the things I am kind of interested in as far as like which now that like as my my new automation framework grows that I kind of want to start up and like move over to the new one, and then in a month or so here I'm probably going to start actually bug hunting again, and I'm curious, like private invites are good and like which program gives you more private invites, obviously, but I'm also curious which platform it's a little bit easier to like get yourself cred for to get into their pen testing program, because I know both HackerOne and BugCrowd have pen testing programs, but you like grandfather yourself in through Bug Bounty, but then the pen tests are actually like pen tests where you get like paid per engagement type of thing. Because I know I know Joel has mentioned doing HackerOne pen tests, and I know BugCrowd does it too, obviously. So I'm also curious of that metric as well, like what each platform looks for and stuff like that. I think that answer might be a little hard to get, but I'm gonna try and get it. So hold on, let me make this a little bigger here. So I'm just curious if they put the numbers in here, so I'm just skimming. Oh, yeah, this was very short notes. Okay. Yeah, so they definitely did not put numbers in here. So I know it was 750 for mediums, and we can go with 20K for crits. Because if we go to HackerOne programs, I think. I'm assuming we can look without having to log in, right? Yeah, I don't remember what the high was either, but we can kind of ballpark. I'm sure it was like it must be like 2 or 5K. I'm gonna guess. HackerOne opportunities. So we want just bug bounties. Oh, can you not search by Can you? I thought for some reason you could search by bounty table. Interesting. Oh, through the API you can? Oh. Yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping for here. What about on like BugCrowd? Under bug bounty program? What about under it? What do you mean? Oh, here we go. Okay, I just had to click on it. Cool. So low, let's just put like 50. Hey, hello? 50? So medium, he said 750. I just put something on low so that like it's someone that pays lows. So I don't remember if he said like something like 2K or 5K for highs. Okay, put nothing in for low. Okay, we can put in nothing. No low. So do we want to do 2K? Oh geez, that's 20K. 2K for a high, or I mean we can start with 2K, I guess. It was either 2K or 5K for some reason. Both of those sound So if we take these two away, let's just start with medium. So this can't be. Yeah, let's start with these two, what we know. So this gives you, okay, but there's no way you're hacking on something with 17% response efficiency, right? Like that's just like not a thing. Here, let's try and get, can we get 4 in a page? Yeah, 4 in a page, here we go. Let me swap views so we get a little bit better, a little bit big. Okay, here we go. A little bit bigger now. So there's no way you're hacking on something with 30 or 15% response efficiency. I don't know what this is. So teleport is interesting. I've heard of teleport, and I know a lot of big companies use teleport. Okay, there's Joel right there. Again, these are only public, but I'm just curious. Chainlink is like Web3. Okay, so PayPal is one of the ones I expected. What is Wicker again? Amazon Scope just updated today. It's kind of wild. Oh, GitLab is on here. GitLab and GitHub are on here. That's interesting. I've always thought GitHub would be cool to hack because you get a bunch of sweet swag too. I'm pretty sure like GitHub has their own like they have a whole website about bug bounty, and you like they have their own like internal leaderboard and stuff and whatever. That would be very cool. Personally think that would be kind of fun. And apparently it hits our Rhino Raider thing. Again, I don't know what he has for lows. But it looks like 617, 4K medium. Yeah, so they have 4K mediums. Like minimum is what this looks like. 10K minimum highs and 20K medium crits. So this would definitely be like, also their average time to triage is 6 days. That sounds like really fucking fast. So why wouldn't you submit lows? I mean, fuck it. I mean, unless you can change it with something, but like Rhino Raider, I think, especially Justin. I mean, I know a lot of people are against like lows and mediums, but I know there are a lot of people, and I know Justin is one of them that I think has pretty openly talked about that he has no problem dropping like 10 lows or 10 mediums instead of, you know, like 2 crits. Like he'd obviously everybody'd love 2 crits, but like money is money at the same time. And again, if you're not touching a program that has anything lower than 750 mediums, like, yeah. No, I think, again, some people might not. Like, there are those people out there that are, like, crit or bust and like, drop a lot of, like, just only look for crits. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, the base you can get for a low is $600, $600. At least for GitHub. So that's interesting. I'm just going to start starring these. All these. So, teleport. Okay, so this looks like it might, like, just barely slip into what we're looking for here. Again, time to triage is 2 days. Average time from triage to bounty. Yeah, so it's got a 3-day time to close. That is insane. That is insane. I don't know, like that seems insane. My lows are always dupes. I mean, hey, at least you're finding it though. Who are like the top people here? Oh yeah, this guy. Okay. Doxing. Okay. This is kind of cool too. I mean, teleport seems kind of cool. What is their scope? Oh, there is like. Interesting. So there is like wildcard domains on here too. That's kind of cool. That is very cool. And then they have source code. Interesting. Very cool. They have a pretty wide scope too. Wait, did I see something wrong? Oh, there's teleport infra.sh. I see. Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'm gonna start this one too. I like this one too. Okay, I don't really do the crypto one. What is Cosmo? Is that crypto too or something? Oh, I think it is. Yeah. Okay. I'm just, like I said, not saying crypto's bad. I'm just like personally ignoring everything that like has to do with Web3, just for the fact of like I don't think. Oh, geez, Ubiquity falls in that too. So Shopify I knew would fall in that. Like that one, you had to know what happened. So pretty much, if we do the two numbers that we know, like Justin lives by, he's already down to 19 public programs that like he would maybe touch, and a lot of them are crypto. Again, like crypto, or like Web3. I think this is Web3. I think, what are these? This is financial something. I actually don't remember what this is. But yeah. Let's see. Oh, same thing here. So the average time to close is like right around 2 months, but time to triage. So it looks like this one is pretty cool. 99%. I mean, so this looks pretty cool too. That does not look half bad. A lot of these programs look really, really cool, actually. What do we have here for like web though? Okay, it's in scope of bounty and eligible though. In scope, bounty and eligible. Okay, but so so you just can't do like basically these like endpoints. Otherwise they're pretty open. So that's eligible, that's out of scope. That's third party. Yeah, those are all okay. I mean, that's pretty cool actually. They have a pretty big scope there too. And then they have a lot, like all of their like devices are in scope too. That's kind of cool. Very cool. I'm gonna start that one too. Boop. Very cool. Okay, so like non-Web3 thing. Okay, I don't remember checking this either. These couple. Let's see if I'm just curious if these are Web3. Digital assets, yeah, blockchain. Okay, so that's Web3. Decentralized. Okay, so it's blockchain at least. Yeah. Web3. Okay, so like of the public programs, if you're following like Rhino rated standards, like you're basically like PayPal is another one too, but like you're running like PayPal, GitLab, GitHub, Shopify, and like the other ones we looked at, like Ubiquity, Tinder, Teleport, and like that's really like those are your non-Web3 options, right? So what happens if you, so what am I doing here? If you cut this in half, you get what? 375 and 10K. So now so if you cut his in half, suddenly there's 51 opportunities. Okay. What if you keep this to 500? Still pretty close. Okay, that's interesting. 10K goes from 21 to 51. So if you put 15K, does it suddenly like drop a ton? Oh, interesting. So that 10K, yeah, it's still low. Okay, so if you're willing to settle for a 10K crit, you suddenly get like just a shitload more. You get like double. Interesting. Did this even really affect it then? I mean, it gave me 4 more, I suppose, than I had before. What if you put this back up to 750? Oh, so really putting the crits down gives you a lot more options. I don't know what like a lot of these are, to be honest. Oh, Epic Games comes in here now? Oh, Epic Games got updated too. Palantir, Internet Bug Bounty, Stripe is in here now. Looks like TikTok is in here now. Hyatt Hotels is in here now. Portswigger is suddenly in here now, apparently. Uber. What other ones? HackerOne is in here now. Airbnb falls in here now. Okay, so that's interesting. So you can still keep up. You can actually still keep a pretty, like, what if you want, like, how many did we? So that eliminated some. What if I put this like 1K? Oh, that didn't change at all. Okay. So you can actually, like, if you're willing to go a little bit down on possible crits, you can still actually keep a pretty high, like, what if you put 1K here? I mean, that's still pretty good. Like 1K mediums, 2K highs, you just have to settle, like, yeah. Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying for someone like, you know, someone like who's not a Rhino Raider, right? Like someone who's new. Like, you find a medium, it's just $1,000. Like, that seems fine. I mean, I did a crit for 1K. See, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, everyone, like, that's what he was talking about, I think, in the episode, which is interesting. So, like, you get all of these options, you know. Yeah. So, I mean, right here, like minimum for a medium on Epic Games is $1,000. Minimum for a high. If you can pump it into a high, you're getting minimum $5,000. And any vulnerability they accept is minimum $200. Like, I don't know. That doesn't seem too bad. Unless you're running, oh, these are like third-party services, yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't seem too bad. I know, I really wanted to hunt on Epic Games too, because it was in the last AWC thing, and I like kind of shit the bed, but I've always kind of wanted to do that again. Okay, can I do the same thing here? Am I able to do this? Rewards. Moderate is, yeah, okay, so this is considered, so it has to be greater than or equal to 750. Apply. And then severe has to be greater than or equal to what? Well, what did we say first? 20K? Oh, wait, why can't I have them both? There must be a way to do both. I'm gonna be really sad if there's not. Can I only what? That seems dumb. So I can only have the minimum rewards for one of the things, or am I doing this wrong? Because this one I can select multiple. Okay, whatever. We'll just start with... So this one wouldn't be... I guess we'll have to start with... Okay, let's start with the 20K crits then, and then see what we have left over. That'll probably be the easiest way. 1, 2, 3. So... in exchange, okay, so OnePass is on here. OpenSea is technically blockchain, I think. T-Mobile is on here. OW. Tesla's on here. Okta's on here. FIS is on. Okay, so a lot of the things you would expect. Ooh, Netflix is on here. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, so there you go. Not bad. Validation within 1 day. Nice. Okay. So WorldPay is listed different. Oh yeah. Yep. So what if we lower, what did we lower it to? Just 10K? Got like a huge change, right? Oh yeah, so same thing here. Now you can do Square as a big one. Atlassian comes into play. What other ones are like, that would be like, Indeed. It's a big one. Seek. Pinterest is already there. I think Canva's here now. Cash App. Oh, there's one more page. Trello, Bitdefender, Bug Crowd, Etsy, Dropbox, Cisco Meraki if you're into that. Interesting. Interesting. So what if you say like you want... are you allowed to do like this and say like I want bare minimum $250? Is that what that means? I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, I mean that's kind of interesting. So I think before we move on, for the few people that are here, I think that's something interesting to look into, and it's an interesting like tidbit to take away if you're looking into bug bounty. Is like apparently people like Rhino Raider won't touch certain programs just based on the bug bounty table. So piggybacking on the VDP discussion, if you're worried about like harder to find bugs, more competition, like whatever, it's something that caught my attention for that reason, right? Not like, oh my god, he needs so much money to hack, but it's more like if you hack on a program that doesn't have a $750 medium, you're probably not hacking against Justin, right? Like, so that seems good to know, right? Like it's something that I suppose you could have like guessed, but the fact that he just said it out loud is an interesting thing. Of like, if you're willing to hack on some of these programs that like don't have 200k crits and like 50k crits and stuff, but still have like maybe they only have a 5 or a 10k crit, but they have decent like low medium highs, like all the other stuff, like you still may hack against less of the harder competition, which is very interesting. Are we seeing what I'm putting down here? So before you go and hack on a VDP, just think about that, right? Oh, the dog is in here. We chillin'. Stream puppy. You can't see it off camera, but he's really, the cat just got her wet food and he's just like sitting there watching her eat basically. Oh. Okay, so now we can move on to automation. That makes sense though. Are we following what's going on here? So before, he does kind of look like a golden retriever, but he's actually a German Shepherd lab mix. Mostly. He's got a little bit of a few other breeds in him, but like he's like 49% German Shepherd and like 30-something% lab. We rescued him from Alabama. From Bama. We saved him. His name is Atlas. He's very cute. Very cute. Okay. Yep. We had to go get him from the, well, okay, we didn't go get him. Okay. I understand that VDP sucks. They do not pay where hunters need to eat. However, in this discussion, what VDP hackers think about it, I am not talking about the point farmers, but about the VDP hackers which likes a product or for any other reasons like to hack on VDP. If I understand what you're saying, like that's why the like VDPs were born for the like legal slash like what's it like see a bug, report a bug type of deal. Like that's what it was originally for, right? Like if you're using something that you really like and you find a vulnerability on it or you want to hack on it to keep your information safer, like VDPs are a place for you to like safely report that, right? Like that's the whole point of like why VDPs even started. Also, I think Joel mentions it too in the episode. Like, there's just a lot of really small companies that like can't fork out thousands and thousands or more than that dollars but still want to like put themselves out there as a safe haven for hackers, like white hat hackers that want to take a peek at their product and take a peek at their security and their security stance. So yeah, like point farming and the whole thing that's gone on aside, like there's like obviously VDPs like weren't just birthed out of like this terrible, like a terrible notion or a terrible thing, like, and they're not all bad, like 100%. And I don't think people are calling for like erase all VDPs, right? Like if you listen to the episode and even read Nagley's tweet that we talked about and that the podcast talked about, they didn't say like delete VDPs. Also, Nihilix, what's up, dog? Hello yourself. Right? They didn't talk about deleting all the VDPs. They wanted to delete private VDPs. And I know at least Nagley talked about, right, taking points away from VDPs or something like that. And again, that's a whole other discussion, but I don't think there was a whole lot of people out there that A, said that if you hunt on a VDP, you're a piece of shit, or B, well, again, there are people that are trying to say that on Twitter or whatever, but that again, we're not here to do that. And I'm not here to do that. You do that on your own time if you want to, but that's not what we're about here. But yeah. And at the end of the day, if you want to hack on a VDP, go hack on a VDP, right? Like, yeah, that's Twitter. 100%, dude. 100%. That's Twitter for sure. Yeah, hack the way you want to hack is the perfect way to put it, right? Like, so what's the stream about? Well, now it's going to be about automation. We're gonna do the automation update next. We're just starting with this because it was on my mind after the critical thinking episode yesterday, and like I said, obviously people who are into the stream are probably watching that as well. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Heard what the stream about? Instant follow. We like the feedback. We like the feedback. We're almost to 400 followers, by the way. We're at like 391. I want to say 391. Very close, very close. So tell your friends, tell your family, follow the stream. Also, before we start in the automation piece and we go through a little bit of the update and next steps, we might code for a little bit. We might sling some code around. We might not. We'll see. Before we start that, though, to the 8 or 10 of you or whatever that are here, thanks for hanging out. This isn't our normal day, and it's a Friday and or Saturday for some people. So I appreciate you guys spending a little bit of the weekend with me. We won't be on too much longer. It looks like we're like 37 or 30-ish minutes into it. And I think an ad just hit, so we're on a good 20-minute run here. We'll probably go for like another 40 minutes or so. 30, 40 minutes, at least. Yeah, I doubt I'll have a little posse at DEF CON, but if you guys are going to DEF CON, I'm pretty much locked into that. So hop into the Discord, any of the Discords. I'm on Critical Thinking Discord, I'm on Jason Haddock's Discord, and then I have my own, which again is more of just like us doing little chats and stuff, like people who are interested in talking to like this community in particular. So it doesn't have that many people in it, but it's, you know, the same names kind of popping up, so it's a little bit more personal, at least at the moment. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, but if you are going to DEF CON, find me on really any Discord channel or DM me or whatever, and I'll let you know where I'm at, and we can probably, you know, it'd be cool to meet a lot of you guys. I'll just be hanging out and doing stuff. I'm gonna try and put a talk into. I'm gonna try and do one CFP, one call for papers, and try and get one talk accepted. May or may not happen. We'll see. But yeah. That'll probably be the thing. That'll be the thing. And then other than that, I'll just be walking around. Just pick something to talk about, you know? Just pick. What is it like I thought it was really interesting. I know Tiberius talked about on Twitter that he was going to do a talk on like becoming a cyber content creator or something. Like, it's just an interesting thing to do a talk about. Like, I just saw it, I was like, oh, it's kind of weird. Like, that's interesting. Like, that's an interesting talk, just period. Right? So it's like you have an interesting talk because it's like, you know, you came into cyber a little late than like someone who just like jumped into, like, I went to university and then went right into cybersecurity, right? Like you know, bull rushed your way into it like your own way. So like, that's an interesting conversation. Like, what did you do? Like, how did you, like, again, you came from like not being in cyber as like a super young adult to like working with Jason and like blowing up a bit on Twitter and doing blogs and like doing your own thing and meeting people and whatever. So it's like, I mean, that's something worth talking about. It doesn't have to be specifically how I did this like super insanely technical thing that only I was able to do, and like I discovered the new way to like, you know, break the power grid. It doesn't have to be that. I mean, but if you can do that, like that should be your talk. By the way, just gonna make that clear. If that's actually something you're doing, then that should be your talk. Okay, so update from last time. So last time we were doing this, we there was a couple streams in a row now where where automation has gotten voted out of the poll. So I wanted to do this now, for sure, because I want to try and keep at least one in every now and then, so we can keep the updates rolling. And it's not just like it won't take me like 5 hours suddenly, like 2 months down the road, because there's a bunch of different updates. But yeah, so last time we did this, I'm pretty sure I only had the Subfinder service running and like maybe the very beginning of like the Resolver service. So what I have pretty much done now is like Subfinder took like 2 seconds, but like Subfinder is just one of the routes to like ingest new domains. There's a lot, but now I kind of have, and there's this new part here called, so the Golden Gun is what like my framework is called, like what I decided to call it. But then there's an engine to it, which is also new. So that's kind of what I want to talk about, like the engine and like how it kind of all works together, at least how I have it all working together. So we're going to start with the engine first, but yeah, maybe just to get a talk accepted, I just do that, and the next year try and go ham. No, I mean, whatever. I mean, one thing I know for sure is Infinite Logins and ARL or whatever are doing the Bug Bounty Village in DEF CON now. So, I mean, I'm assuming they're going to be like fresh, right? Like they're going to be fresh call for paper. So even if you don't get a talk, like I'm assuming they might want volunteers or some people to do that. So like maybe there's an in there, like, you know, there's a lot of ways to get involved with con life. And obviously Jason knows even like way more than I do. I went the Jason route as well. Jason and I did a bunch of talks last year as well. I think I did one on my own and then 3 with him. Okay, here we go. It's time. So Golden Gun, the tool, this part of the framework is all of those services and then like the utilities that go with it. That's what's part of like Golden Gun. So right now it's just Subfinder and Resolver, but like tools like Gungnir and Cloud Recon and like other tools that I have that scan from the cloud, I built them an agent, and I'm building like the influx agent for that, so they can pipe tools right into the services. So even though like there might not be a brute forcing service or a Cloud Recon service or like a Gungnir service, they're just putting all their results into the tool, like through an agent. I call it an agent, basically. It's like a separate CLI tool that I can just attach onto the end of anything I'm running in DigitalOcean that just shoves all the results back into my my database, right? So these services are just services that are actually going to like run on my lab as like concurrent running services. Tools that like concurrently run and scan on their own, that I just like use day to day, are kind of automated a little bit different, and then they have the agent attached to them, right? So the engine is the continuous part of the framework. So the services is just like they take an input and they do something, right? The engine is what keeps it continuous. The services themselves don't like continuously do things. They sit and wait for work. And then as work comes, they handle it. The engine is what generates the work. It's like the thing in the middle that generates the work for everything, if that makes sense. Services can generate work for other services, obviously. Like, so for instance, like in the Subfinder here, we changed it a little bit. So in Subfinder, it publishes whenever it finds a domain. So you're running Subfinder, you find domains, right? So every domain you find, it will process it, put it into like the certain Redis sets that it needs to put it into, and then it will publish it to the resolver service. So it doesn't all go like through the engine into a service. Services can publish to other services, but the continuous aspect of the framework comes from the engine. So what I mean by that, for instance, is the engine right now, the one continuous part of the engine that it controls is the resolver engine. So you hear people that either like are into subdomain takeovers or whatever, like you want your DNS information to be up to date, right? Like if you resolve something and you're like, sweet, like this domain resolves, and then you just shove it into your database or shove it into a text file, and then 30 days later you like, okay, so what of these domains of this program actually resolved? Like there's no shot that it's the exact same, right? Hopefully everyone gets what I'm going with there. Like it could even change day to day, right? Like there can be small changes day to day, but like stack that up over 30 days. You do a ton of recon for the win or whatever, like spam your recon out for 30 days or and do it all and then wait 30 days and your data set, I'm not gonna say means nothing because there's overlap there for sure, but hopefully you get my point, right? So with this, the resolver engine is basically keeping things up to date. So like I said, I use Redis as a not a database, but I use Redis as like the cache to the database basically, or like to the data. So when you're doing that like fast access data and it's constantly being accessed and it's constantly being pulled on, that's what Redis is for. So that's why I use Redis. So it's not totally a database because the data actually gets backed up off of Redis on like a much slower schedule in big chunks, right? So, yeah. Which B-sides are you talking about? Are you talking about Ryan's B-sides, maybe? That he has in July? Anyway, so what this resolver engine does, quickly, right? Okay, he'll answer you, if he's still here. So, what this does is it creates a ticker. So this every 30 seconds is going to run, whatever. It can be changed to whatever. But for right now, I have the cadence on every 30 seconds. I might do it you can do it every minute, every whatever. This isn't really important. It just keeps the continuous loop going, right? So this is going to run in a Go routine. So the engine itself is going to start and put all of these different like sub engines, like a resolver engine, a web engine, and whatever that I keep creating. They're going to go off into their own Go routines, and then the main thread will handle them. So how that's handled is this. This is a pretty like common thing in Go. Is there's a case for the ticker. So this ticker here will tick every 30 seconds, which means something will come down this channel every 30 seconds. So this case ticker right here means if it's been 30 seconds, this will activate. Otherwise, if you get something from the shutdown channel, which is just the OS signal, which means I hit like Control C. Right, I want the program to end. Somehow the program is ending. You can graciously close down all your Go routines and the program, so you don't have any leaking memory and anything left over. Right? Otherwise, it's going to sit here at this select thing, and it's going to sit at this select and hang until either the ticker goes off or it gets a shutdown signal. So every 30 seconds, it will drop into this case. It'll get the current Unix timestamp right now. And then as the comment says here, it will go into my domains last seen sorted set. So every time I resolve a domain, it goes into a sorted set that has the domain and the timestamp, right? So you can sort by timestamp. So what this is doing is it's going in and it's getting the Z range in my sorted set for 300 seconds ago, right? So it's saying anything that's 300 seconds old, give me back, right? Then you go through each of the domains. So old domains is all the domains that I got from here that were 5 minutes old. So anything, and again, this can be much bigger than 5 minutes if you're like super uncomfortable with that, right? Like if you just need like a day, like have I not resolved it today, right? Then you can make this a much bigger number, right? But you basically, like for example, this is doing it every 5 minutes. So every 5 minutes, something's gonna get it's gonna get re-resolved, ideally, right? So it'll go in, pull all of the domains from the sorted set. It'll say, okay, what are all the domains that haven't been resolved in the last 5 minutes? It'll pull them, loop through them, and it will publish them to the back into the resolver service. It'll say, okay, you're 5 minutes old, get re-resolved, right? Mint. And this just again, it's just an engine. It's super simple. It just continuously runs unless it gets told to shut down. Otherwise, every 30 seconds, it'll check. 5 minutes old, boom, get resolved. 5 minutes old, boom, get resolved. That's all it does. Right? And it's that easy to keep my DNS data up to date. Again, the timing, the like every 30 seconds and 5 minutes old and whatever, like that's all configurable. Like that's all to be fair, at the end of the day, I'm probably going to put this on like a config file and have the engine and the tool like read from config before it runs. So it's much easier to like tweak everything as I need to. But for now, it's hard coded. It's whatever. Right? So hopefully that makes sense to everybody. Like you get the engine portion, right? So this is like the engine that makes sure that all of my stuff is up to date, and it publishes it. So now what that actually means when you look at the resolver service here, let's pull this down since we're not running anything. Okay. So this is when the resolver service actually gets created, and it only has one endpoint or one endpoint. That's a handler, and the handler just does one thing. It gets a domain. The request data is always going to be a domain, and it runs this on it, this resolve domain, which is this right here, right? When it goes into this, the first thing it does is it goes into Redis and checks if this domain needs to be resolved. What this function does in my Redis utils, what do you think it does? Checking if this domain needs to be resolved. All it does is say, hey, did I resolve this less than 5 minutes ago? Because if so, then it's up to date as far as we're concerned, right? So if one of my tools or one of my inputs happens to throw in a bunch of dupes, it puts in www.hackerone.com 15 times in a row into the service, it won't resolve it 15 times in a row in 5 minutes, right? It'll do it the first time, and then the next 14, it'll be like, I've seen you before. Like, you're up to date. Get out of here. It just is done. Right? So right here, if do resolve, which means it's older than 5 minutes, resolve it, right? This means, have we seen the domain before? So this function will return, do we need to resolve it, and does it exist? Very simple. Perfect variable naming, in my opinion, if I do say so myself, right? So we're going into Redis, which is going into that same sorted set and saying, hey, first things first, did we find it in this sorted set? Right? If we didn't find it, this is going to be false, but this is definitely going to be true, right? If we didn't find it before, we definitely need to resolve it, but it doesn't exist currently. We've never found it before. Otherwise, we could have found it before. This could be true, but this could also be true if it's older than 5 minutes, right? So assuming that this is true, right? Because if it's not true, you go to the end here. If it's not true, it doesn't do it. Like, it doesn't do anything. It just ends. Done. If do resolve is false, meaning we've seen it within 5 minutes, that it skips this if statement and it's all over, right? Perfect. But if we do have to resolve it, it does the resolving, right? Resolver domain. It gives me the data, and it gives me whether or not it found results, yes or no, right? Because if it didn't find results, I don't want it to error, right? So it's not gonna, like, it doesn't crash the engine or the service if it doesn't find anything. It just says, you know, it's just going to return like true or false, right? So right here, if it didn't find any results, right? Next step. What if I had found this? Like, you don't want to just end here. If you say, oh, it didn't find any results, okay, we'll just end, go to the next domain. No. If I didn't find any results, what if I had seen it before, right? So if I didn't find any results, I'm going to remove it from the sorted set and remove any of the domain JSON, which is like the data, the actual data for it, right? So to be fair, if you wanted to, you could put if not found results and exists, like from this one right here. But the thing is, these don't error. The removing functions from Redis don't error if the key doesn't exist. It just is like, okay, like it's removed, even though it's not there. So it just makes it a little bit more readable, but you know, you can put that there. You can like put that in the logic too. Like if it exists and I didn't find results, then do this thing, technically would be like the really specific way to do it. Otherwise, right here. So now we're saying it did resolve, right? Because otherwise it would have ended here. So if it did resolve, we go down here. Now, there's two different things we care about. If it resolved, but we've seen it before, or if it resolved and we haven't seen it before, right? Welcome, Mark. Welcome, Mark. We're going over automation right now. We're going over the new automation updates, right? So now it's resolved. I know I found data. So now what matters is, have I seen this domain before or not, right? Because that's what matters for alerting. So if it does exist, which means I found it before, right? We're going to remove the old timestamp, right? So we're removing the old record, not to leave it removed, but we're removing it so we can update its timestamp, right? So we're removing it from the set, right? Otherwise, if it doesn't exist, we don't have to remove it from the set because it doesn't exist, and it's new, so we're going to send a Discord alert to my Discord that says, hey, new resolved domain. Dope, right? And then no matter what, whether it exists or not, right? If it exists, we already removed it. If it doesn't exist, then it's not there. We're going to push domain JSON. So for the JSON, you don't have to remove the old stuff. For sets, you have to remove, then add. For pushing the new JSON data, it's just key value and then like bit JSON data. So you don't have to like remove, re-add. You can just replace at that key, right? So I'm just pushing the new JSON, which again, I'll go to in a second, but you push the new JSON here, and the new JSON here actually does two things. Not only does it push the new JSON data, oh, hold on, we gotta snooze ads till I finish this. There we go, snooze ads. Not only does it push the new JSON data, but it checks, was there JSON data there? And if there was, did anything change, right? So this Boolean value tells me, was there new data or not? If there was new data, then alert that a DNS change occurred. So even if I've seen a domain for like 6 months, it's been in my automation, it's just been chilling there for 6 months, and all of a sudden the IP changes, right? Might want to know. All of a sudden there's a new CNAME record. CNAME goes from like something to something else, like might be worth looking into, right? So this alerts you if the DNS has changed. And then it stores the domain back into the sorted set with the new timestamp right at the end. So right at the very end, the last thing I do is put the domain back in domain's last seen with the new timestamp, so that for the next 5 minutes we ignore it. If we see it again in the next 5 minutes, right? Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. Now, there's one thing that's interesting about that I ran into that I think is worth joking about because I struggled with it for so long. When you do this push domain in JSON, like I said, it pushes the JSON data, but it also checks. So it gets the old data, does all this stuff, it compares JSON data right here, right? Now, anyone who has done DNS, if you ran a dig, you're gonna know what I'm talking about, right? Happens all the time, where a domain will resolve to a group. Like it has multiple A records, right? So you're going to get like 1.1.1, 2.2.2, 3.3.3 for an example, right? Obviously not, but for an example, right? I resolve a domain and it gives me 1.1.1, 2.2.2, 3.3.3, right? And then maybe I use a different name server, or maybe I resolve it a different time of day, or maybe I do it again and it just happens right away. But the next time they're in the different order. So it's 2.2.2, 1.1.1, 3.3.3, right? Now, the IP addresses didn't change. The order of them changed. Right? But I don't want to alert on that just because they came back, like they came back in a different order now. Oh my God, like, no. You only want to report if they change, right? So before you can compare this DNS data, yep. So before you can compare this DNS data, I created a type. So this is what my DNS, when I say DNS data, this is what I'm capturing right now. What the host name is, right? So I can match domain to domain. What resolvers worked of my, because I actually hit it against every resolver that I like. I have a list of like 7 that I'm using, the ones that I like, and I hit it against every one. And this is all of the resolvers that hit. A list of all the A records, list of all quad A's, list of CNAMEs, MX, PTR, NS, text, and SRVs. And then the string version of the status code. So no error, serve fail, whatever, right? Yes? So for these ones, right, all of these where you could get them in a different order, you have to sort them first. So what I do up here, where is it? Whoa. Right here, okay? So when you're comparing DNS data, the first thing I have to do is I just string sort them. So it puts them all in the same. So I just like, this is just the quick and easy way that I did it. There might be a like more algorithmic way to do it or a better way to do it, right? But all I did is anything that was a list in my DNS data, anything, well, technically a slice in Go, but anything that's a slice or a list, right? So all these get string sorted. Both sets of DNS data get string sorted so that both of the lists are in the same order. So if they have the same contents but in a different order, they're now in the same order. And then you can just use the reflect deep equal from Go, and it'll tell you if the data is different or not. Boom. That took me a while to get to that simple solution. I'm going to be honest. It's a little frustrating, but we're not going to talk about it. It's fine. Right? It was pretty hype. It was pretty hype. I'm telling you guys, it was almost a tearjerker moment when I finally got that part working. Right? Yes? So now, after all this stuff, right? Like this whole thing, I can now take this service and using NATs, like since I'm using NATs micros, this create resolver service. So right now, when I start the engine up, I'm creating 5 resolver services. Again, that would probably come from a config file later or whatever, but you can make this 40, 80, 1,000, like however much your server can handle, right? Like, and it will just scale them up and defer their stopping until you, again, this will do the graceful shutdown and stop all of the services and do all that, like at the end, if you control C it, right? Or if it crashes. So you can do this as many times as you want, and they will spread themselves out. So are we comfortable with it? Do we want to see a demo of kind of like front to back what we're looking with here? Because we can do a demo. We can demo this if we want to. I trust the demo gods. We can trust the demo gods. We can do a small little example. So do we want to do the demo, or is this super boring and we want to do something else? Because you guys can tell me. Now that I've ranted for like 15 minutes. Oh, hold on. Wait for ads. Ads first. Sub or ads? Sub or ads, boys. Looks like ads are starting in 20 seconds. Okay, we're going to do the demo after ads. Because it looks like we're going to get hit here in like 10 seconds with ads for the non-subs. I'm sorry. I got, you know, I have them on low, but they're going to hit. So I think they're about to happen. We'll see the boys on the other side for the demo. We'll wait for you. Okay, it looks like the ads are starting. Subs, you ready to start the demo without the non-subs? Here we go. We'll start it. We have a minute and a half. We can show all the secrets. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that to people. It's terrible. Who would say that? We're taking the ad time to appreciate the subs, though. Honestly, even if you got gifted a sub, all the subs are huge. I appreciate all the subs. Again, there will probably be some special stuff for you coming up here once I get a little locked in. I'm not a sub and I'm here. You made it, because it says the ads are in progress right now for like a minute and a half. So I don't know how that works. I don't think it grabs like every non-sub and throws them into an ad. So you either have an ad blocker that's kick-ass, or you somehow got skipped over. So don't say it too loud, otherwise you might get thrown in. Don't say it. Don't just act natural. We got a minute left. Sadly, I'm almost out of sparkling water. We're gonna have to switch to the regular stuff here in a second. Sad day. Do. All right, we're close. We're 24 seconds. Countdown. Then we should have everybody back. Is the music bad? This is just like a DMCA playlist, so I can share the streams on YouTube, the VoDs on YouTube after. Is the like DNB music, or are we with it? Or are we not with it? What are we thinking? Because I've just kind of used it, just because I you know, it's like safe to use or whatever. But I could probably find something else that's, you know, not as just like continuous, if that's not the move, you know. All right, I think ads ended. At least it's telling me ads ended, so it sounds like I have another 23-ish minutes, 25 minutes of hot air now that I can utilize. Fantastic. Okay, so demo time. Yes? I actually don't think I need a new terminal. I think I have one. Yep. Nice. All right. Demo time. Okay, so we'll do this one. We'll split. Oh gosh. Okay, then we'll delete this one. We'll cd dot. Come on. Dang it. Oh. There we go. Okay. So we'll see if my home network might try and like F with the demo a little bit, but that's okay. We can handle it as it comes. All right. Are we ready? Everyone's back, right? I mean, ads been over for like a minute and a half now, so I think everybody's back. I hope. We're going to start though. We're going to start. So here we go. So like I said, we're running the framework to start the services, and then the engine we'll run after. I'll show you. And we'll have to let it run like kind of while I like talk, because we'll have to wait. Okay. So first things first. That is okay. So that's ready. So you should see. Actually, I think Discord's in streamer mode. Sec ads. Wait, ads are going again? What? That can't be happening. It says ads start in 21 minutes. There's no way. Ryan, are you here? Mod? Anybody? Ryan, are you even still here? Stream mod here. Thank you. Perfect. I think ads are over. Okay, we're gonna continue. I'm pretty sure ads are over. It's telling me it's over. If not, this rip off. Okay. So we're gonna go run main here, right? The engine will run, but it won't do anything, right? Because it's pulling domains. Okay, wait, first things first, let's pull this up. This will be our big screen for like stats and stuff. So we'll just like run terminals everywhere. It's gonna be fantastic once this finally boots. Okay, so let's go back here, log into Redis and flush all. We'll just start fresh just to make it easy. No, I think ads are over. I think ads are done. Ads have been done. Okay, here we go. So now we're ready there. Okay, so we're gonna go run main. Okay, assuming my network plays nice. Okay, it looks like it did. So now we're connected and we have services running. So one way to check that is we can go here and check stats, for instance, for our resolver service and our sub finder service, right? So I had 2 instances of sub finder service running and 5 instances of resolver service running, right? Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. There we go. Right? So we see this. These are my services. They're running now. Nothing. They haven't seen any requests yet, but they're running. So what we're gonna do to make them do things is we're going to, I'm just gonna do it the lame-o way here. Okay, so we're gonna do a request to Subfinder. So what I'm doing here is I'm just sending a NATS request to Subfinder for bugcrowd.com, right? So I'm just queuing this up to my Subfinder service, right? Subfinder service will obviously run Subfinder, get the passive sources, all those domains that it gets, it'll kick into the resolver service, yes? Boom, it'll all just happen. Ideally, there would be some Discord pop-ups that happen down here in the lower right-hand corner, but I think Discord, when it's in like streamer mode, won't show you like alerts. I'm pretty sure. So we might actually not see the alerts. I can show you after when they happen, because I flushed the Redis, so everything will be new. So it'll spam me for with like a shitload of things, right? Because I just flushed it. We're just fresh Redis. Okay, so I'm gonna do a Bugcrowd one, and then I'm gonna do a HackerOne one. Okay. Because I think what should happen is it should send one request to each one of these Subfinder services, and then both of those will get shoved into HackerOne, and neither one has a shitload of domains, so it won't like take a whole bunch of time either. Okay? And pray one more time to the demo gods that this works, because otherwise, I don't know. I don't tell you, right? Okay, so we're gonna send this request. I'm gonna go here, and we're gonna change this to hackerone.com, right? Oh no, It's gonna time out my home network. Oh no, it didn't. Okay, good. Sweet. Okay, so we're hoping here. We're hoping that it's running and my network didn't time out, right? So here, if we clear, if we go back to this and look at stats, one of them happened. I'm not sure. My network might have actually timed me out of the other one. I'm not sure because it didn't tell me. It didn't tell me like that I received it. There we go. Now it did it. My home network downstairs, my lab downstairs, the networking is still questionable. Okay, I'm not a network engineer. Try to do my best, but like all the public IPs and like VLANs and shit. Okay, I'm doing my best here. All right. Sometimes you know we gotta talk to the network guy. But now we got it. So now we should see two different ones. Now I'm not sure if each one. Oh, see, my other one did go through. God dang it, son of a bitch. Anyway, it'll just do it twice. It'll do it 3 times and be fine. So what'll actually happen now? The best part is since I did HackerOne twice. Subfinder will run twice on HackerOne because I didn't have like a check. There's no time check on that. But when the HackerOne domains get pushed back into the resolver service, obviously it will have seen them less than 5 minutes ago, so it'll just ignore all of them. So for reasons exactly like this, like me being an idiot, is why I'm not worried about it. Right, so now we can see we got 0 errors, so none of the services are experiencing errors. This is how many requests we've sent them, and it shows me my processing time, right? You can keep refreshing it and keep seeing processor time and all that stuff. Brian Banks, thanks for the follow, man. Thank you. Right, now, the other thing we can see is we can do the, where is it? Resolver service. Whoa, look at that, right? So all the domains that Subfinder was finding, I'm pretty sure I have some logging. Yeah, see, so here's some actual logging because the resolver service is newer. So you can see it's like pushing all these domains as it found them. And then it's also adding new unique domains and stuff, right? So this is just like some of the backend debugging logging. But what's important, right, is right here. Can everyone see this? This is pretty cool, right? So look, it did its own load balancing. So 5 services load balanced itself. It did a fan out pattern of like everything that came into the queue. Those 5 services that are all doing the same thing, but they split the load on their own. I didn't have to code it or anything. That's all built into NAT's microservices. Like you just code it like I want this function to happen on this queue. And it's like, great. And then I want 10 of these. Great. And it just does the rest, right? The best part is you can take all of these metrics and stuff and get real time, like I'm gonna do it later, but you can get all of these metrics and more built into OpenTelemetry. So NATS connects right into OpenTelemetry and you can just get all of this, or you can do it in Prometheus and Grafana, like through OpenTelemetry. But you can actually, like these all connect to like actual like metrics dashboards that you would want. So you don't have to like do this shit on the CLI. So at some point I'll have the like cool version of these and you can like see it all happen in real time. But for now, CLI is the best you get, sorry. But so we saw this, right? It did all these requests. Each one of these requests was a domain. You can see my processing time, my average time, right? So processing time is how much time total has the service spent running, right? So this service, which saw the most requests, right? Saw 45, obviously has the highest processing time, right? The one that saw the lowest has actually doesn't have the lowest processing time, which is interesting. But then it shows the average time, like per run. So it's doing all of the resolving, the Redis set checks, the Redis set push. So you have to remember, I'm not resolving one domain in 600 milliseconds. I'm resolving the domain, checking if it exists, pushing it if it doesn't exist, and swapping out DNS data, all in 600 milliseconds per domain. It does all of that in 600 milliseconds per domain on average. Not bad. Not bad, right? Not bad. So the other part that we can show is that I will show again. I didn't get the pop-ups because we're in like streamer mode, so it stops Discord pop-ups just in case, which is fine. But let me just grab. So what you see on my thing? Oh, hold on. That was a bad screenshot. Hold on, please hold. God dang it. Stop. Stop. So what? Yeah, perfect. So what we see here, there we go. So what we see here, come on over. Yes? This is what my Discord looks like in my channel. So I have my DNS alerts channel. And in it, all this stuff just happened. Whoop. Because we have fresh. So it's giving me, obviously, again, it's all flooded because I flushed the Redis server. So like everything is new and everything is, you know, so again, like this just looks like gobbledygook, but after, like once you onboard everything, like then you're only getting like new stuff, right? So again, it went through, ran Subfinder, split it all up, all resolved it, checked if it had existed before. Obviously none of it did, so it alerted me and all that stuff. So it alerts me of both the new resolved domains and the DNS data, so you can see it. And all that stuff, right? So now, what we should be able to do is I can keep this running, because the services need to stay running, but I'm gonna put those over there. And now if I go main, I have to run main.go here, assuming this doesn't time out, hopefully, which it's not. Yes, good. What should actually happen here is we did this like right around 31, and my ranting went right around 36 right now. So in a bit here, you should start to see this engine, and I'm curious if I still have the logging. Yeah, see, so I still have the logging here, so we'll be good. So in a bit, you should see this engine start re-grabbing the domains we already found and shoving them right here. Perfect. Gosh, the demo gods, they love me, right? So you can see all these services, or the engine, just saw that all of these are now 5 minutes old. Oh my gosh. So it sends them all, publishes them all to the resolver service again, right? Kind of cool, no? Like that's kind of cool. So every 30 seconds, it's checking for things that are 5 minutes old. If it's 5 minutes old, it puts it back. So these were all 5 minutes old, so it puts it back. I was talking for 5 minutes since we resolved it, and it's like, oh, maybe they're not resolved anymore, and it puts it back. And if something new had happened, which, sorry guys, but it didn't, right? Sorry to, you know, burst your bubble, but it didn't. But if something had happened, it will tell me. Kind of cool, right? And if you go here and you run stats again, obviously there's much more. The average time stayed about the same, our processing time went up, and we roll on, and every 5 minutes they'll get reshoved back in. There's no way people are getting ads. So the thing with DNS servers is I'm only using DNS servers that aren't super worrisome about traffic, and I'm only monitoring, like at the end of the day, the amount of traffic they have is insane, right? So in reality, like this is not that much traffic. We'll just put it that way. Like, to a DNS resolver, like seeing, even if you were like monitoring 100 million domains, that would mean every 5 minutes you would see 100 million DNS queries from this engine. That's not crazy in the main scheme of things, especially to like if you're using the big resolvers. If you're worried about it, you could deploy your own resolver and do it that way, right? Or you could like split your traffic between resolvers if you just want to like have a few trusted ones and like spread traffic, right? But I haven't ran into any issues with it yet, right? Again, certain ones, there are like some of the resolvers like only like will accept so many per minute or whatever. The other thing you can do if you're really worried about it, yes, so I don't use those. I like, so I only, yeah. So, yeah. I haven't ran into any issues with it yet. Like all my DNS data has come back pretty legit, personally. And I know for a while I was doing it, like to test it, I was doing it for a while. It was only like 10 million domains, to be fair. Not 100 million. It was like 10 million domains. So it was like kind of like load testing some of it with. And again, that's my point, is if you're worried about that, like who really needs 5 minute up-to-date DNS information? Like, be honest with me. Like if you're actually trying to fight for subdomain takeovers, that's how you do it, right? If you're really trying to like get dangling buckets and dangling CNAMEs, like that's how you do it, right? And again, maybe if you want to go that fast, I'm not saying I know the answer for sure, to be totally honest with you. As you may run into that issue, in which case the answer is you can deploy, this is just a binary, right? Like this is just a Go binary, the framework. I could go run this, use the same NAT server, and I could go run the service on 10 different machines. Like there's nothing stopping me. I would go run the same exact, I can stop the demo by the way. I can go run this exact binary, the one that starts the services. All it does is connect back to the NAT server and deploy the service on whatever queue you tell it to. Right? Exactly. So if it ends up being an issue, I change nothing in the code. I just have to distribute it on multiple servers, which is fine. It doesn't change the codes. Exactly. It would, like, that would then do DNS resolution from different IPs. I don't have to like add a proxy or anything like that. Like this go.main down here, like it's just running, like this is Go, so it will all compile to a binary, and I can just put that binary on whatever box I want, VPS, in my lab, wherever I want. So if it does end up being an issue in the future, that's fine. I can handle that. It won't be that big of a deal. I mean, it's something you, like, shouldn't say it's not going to be that big of a deal. It's something you definitely have to keep an eye on for sure, right? And you may have more experience than me, 100%. Like, maybe you are doing the 100 million domains every 10 minutes, and you're like, hey, dude, like, I for sure, like, I've done it, and I for sure know you're going to run into a problem. Like I said, totally. But if I do run into a problem, like, that's the plan. Is instead of running off one box, I'll run on a lot. So right now, I really would like to try and keep the resolver service on one of my, like on the lab box I have in my basement. If that's not possible, then it's not possible. Right? So like I do like certificate scanning on all of IPv4 against the whole IPv4 IP space. Obviously, I'm not going to do that from my lab machine because it gets a little questionable. My ISP might not like that. Even though it's not like necessarily that bad, I'm just sending like one handshake to each, IP. It's not like terrible. I do that from the cloud, right? So it's the same thing with this. If the resolution gets too much, then I'll distribute it across, whatever, and we'll do it that way. It's totally possible, right? This is just this binary spinning up these services. Again, ideally will come with at the end of the day, will come with a config file, and all this won't be like hard coded, and you can pick and I'll be able to pick like how fresh I want a thing, how often I want to run and whatever. And then we'll take the binary, the config file, and spread it on as many servers you want. It'll be fantastic. That's kind of how I'm building it, is like, if it has to be broken out, fine, right? Because I can just tell it like, okay, on this machine, like build no subfinder services. I don't need any more of those. Like just build me like another 15 resolver services here. And then maybe I do that across 10 IPs. Because it's the same thing. You'll run into the same problem when you do, like the next step obviously is going to be like web fingerprinting, right? Like, you run into, like, it's all the same stuff, right? Like, are you gonna get like blocked? Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna do that? So there's the option of like, I'm gonna have to toy with that. Like, do I want it to come from like one or a few boxes and then run through like a proxy service that rotates IPs for doing like web fingerprinting? Or is it fine to just spread my workers across, like 5 or 10 little boxes, like, because I don't need that much compute, and just have, like 2 or 3 services running on each box and do it that way? Like, I don't know. I'm going to have to play with it. But I'm building it so that if it needs to be distributed, rather than, it can either run on one huge box with a bunch of services or have a few services running on a bunch of teeny boxes. That's the best part. It's the best part. It's super cool. I think it's super cool. I don't know. Maybe it's not super cool. But yeah. That's pretty much where we're at right now. That's the demo. So we made it a little further than last time. I pretty much have the resolving engine and the resolving engine and like the service and all that like pretty much down. So the next part, let me look at my list here. Next thing we're going after. Okay, so the next thing we're going after is obviously web fingerprinting, which will work pretty much the exact same flow-wise as the DNS, right? As you'll have a sorted set of timestamps, so I know when I have seen stuff and when I haven't, and then key value storage of like just a flat byte value of JSON for all the stuff I want to fingerprint, right? Like status code, content length, whatever. And I'll make alerts based on what I want to make alerts on, like whether you want to make alerts on content length or whether you want to make alerts on status code or like whatever you may want to make alerts on. Technology stacks, whatever. Like every time you see, PHP alert or something like that. Like I don't know, whatever you want to do. I'm also, along with the web fingerprinting service, I'm probably going to make some type of like queue. After I do the web fingerprinting service, I'm going to start making another like tool that goes with it that has nothing to do with like the framework itself, but that calls out to Redis and says like, okay, give me everything for this root domain, give me everything that resolves to PHP. Like I'm going to start making a tool so I can query against all my data. Give me everything that's PHP. Give me all the DNS information for this domain. Give me all the DNS information for all the subdomains of this root domain. All that kind of stuff, right? That'll be the next thing. What else do we have here? And then again, the next thing I'm going to look at, once I get the web service set up, and we're kind of at a point where like what I would consider like recon, other than like brute forcing endpoints and all that kind of stuff, like that will probably come down the road, but I'm just kind of waiting on that. Like this is purely the recon side of it. Once I get the web stuff spun up and the recon is kind of done, the query service will be the next one, like the query CLI tool, and then error handling and monitoring. Right now, if something were to break, it just breaks that, like the service just dies, right? I think if one of these ever errored with one, like it doesn't just say, oh, I messed up and this was my error, it just kills it. But what should happen is it will error with a good error message in the logs, and I can look at it in like open telemetry, right? So this has out of the box, like these stats and stuff and the error handling and stuff, you can make like schemas for errors and all this kind of stuff, like really built out enterprise shit, and it's all built in. You don't have to like recode it. And it'll all instantly connect to open telemetry, and then you can even like piggyback it to Grafana or Prometheus if you want to, but I'll probably just stick with open telemetry. So that will come. And then after I have the recon, and after the error handling and the monitoring and everything's kind of spun up, and again, maybe I have to distribute it or something, after that's all set up, then we'll start playing with like maybe some special stuff. Again, like looking for bucket takeovers, looking for like just misconfigurations, and being able to make sure that I can, like, if a new CVE comes out, that I can wide scan it across certain things and all that kind of, and actually like making it usable. Once it's usable for recon and just giving me new assets and changed assets and like stuff like that to just like augment my like normal hunting, then, and like I said, once error handling and monitoring is in place, then I'll probably get into some of the fun stuff. Like but the recon is definitely the first goal, just because I know people always come in and ask like, how do you hack with it? Where do the bugs come from? So like, obviously, like full disclosure, like bugs don't come out of it yet, and they probably won't for a while. Hopefully not a long while, but a while. But what I'm thinking is, and I'm going to drop this now because there's only 7 viewers and only 7 people can actually hold me to it. But first, I agree with you, right? So I'm building it. So Nats Micros is fantastic because it doesn't take a bunch of coding, and you don't need like Kubernetes or anything. You can, right? Because it's just a Go binary. So I could containerize the Go binary in Docker and then run it as a Kubernetes service, like as a pod, if I really wanted to. If you want to get insane with it, wouldn't be that hard. Container it in a Docker image, run that Docker image across pods, run, like Nats is already able to be run in Kubernetes, and so is Redis, obviously. Like both of those technologies are already very easily put in Kubernetes. So you could take this, containerize it, and run it as like a pseudo enterprise thing in Kubernetes, like in not that long of time, and spread your pods out and all this stuff. And you definitely could, 100%, you could. But if you want to keep it easy, you can also just use the Go binary across a couple different, boxes. So it's very easy as like a solo dev for me to like scale up, scale down, like do what I need to do, and like as I build it and test it, and then as I want to use it, scale out as I want to. I really like it too. It's very cool. It's very, very cool. But what I was gonna say, drop for the 7 viewers before we probably call it a stream here in 5 or 10 minutes, is I'm gonna make the CLI tool to query data, but one of the other things I'm probably gonna do is, as part of the Redis like backing itself up for cold storage, and in case of like because Redis is stored in RAM, so if the server turns off, you lose all the data, so you have to keep it as a backup anyway to re-shove it into Redis on reboot or something, right? So one of the things I'm going to do is I'll probably have my own CLI tool so I can hit like the Redis and like query Redis. But the other thing I might do is I actually think like one of the things I might do for subs, since a lot of you guys seem to be bug bounty hunters, is for subs is I'll probably find a way to give you guys some kind of access to the data that I like once I have it up and running. We'll probably do, again, I don't know when that will be. It may not be for a while, so don't like expect it next week or something. It may be a while, but when we get up and running, that's one of the things that subs will probably also get. And since it will take a while, like I'm probably gonna use like Rapid API or something to do it, and we'll probably just be like the longer you're subbed, the more API calls you get or something ridiculous. So like people who have been subbed since day one, like someone can't sub 8 months from now when I finally get done with this and get the same perks. Like I don't know, we'll think of something, but that'll probably be something we do for subs, because I would like to share the data, and that way like the people who like have been interested in the community and like have been involved in the community, so like you guys who are here at the very beginning, if I can actually build this out to something that's cool and people want the data, like the people who have been here the whole time can definitely like have first dibs and most dibs type of deal. But yeah, give us pay options as well. That's the sub, right? Like that's the whole point. It's like people who've been like subbing now with like no, like it doesn't get you anything right now. Like that's what it will get you. You know, that's what you'll get more. I don't know. Like I said, we'll do team hacking and stuff like that. There's definitely a time investment to getting the recon done, but it's a required step. Yep. There's also loads of extra recon automation stuff you can bake in, but you probably skip doing on the first pass through. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Like you can scan all of IPv4. I have my tool Gugnir that looks at CT logs. You can just brute force, just straight up just brute force till the cows come home, right? Like you can just brute force all day long. You can do vhost scanning. You can, I don't know. There's a bunch of other stuff that you can do, but yes, you're 100% right. Like you can literally sit here and beat it if you want to. But I'm starting with like kind of what I already have built out, and I'm trying to build all the way up to the top. And then once I have the tool and it's good and it does something and it's useful, then you can I'll continue to like iterate over it, right? But as a solo dev who has a full-time job and does content creation and tries to do a little bit of something, for now we're just trying to get it useful, right? We're trying to get it useful for the homies, so when it's time to get back into bug bounty here in like a month, I'm trying to get it useful to the useful point, the MVP point, in like a month or so here. So like come May or June, when I jump back into the bug bounty game here, that I have something to, like I said, help augment my hunting and stuff like that, and really build out, especially like I said, for the recon. But you're right, yeah. You can sit here and iterate over recon and add little tools and add little tweaks and get this extra thing, which is all good. It's all good, right? Jason talks about it all the time. Jay Haddix talks about it all the time. Like those extra little domains are the ones you want, right? Like the little extra niche recon stuff and doing all the recon and all the things and trying all the things. Yeah, like it gets you the juice, right? It gets you the juice. It's like 100%. And it'll all come in time for sure. For sure, you're 100% right. Like it all takes time, and it's like it's all there. But yeah. So, like I said, I gotta go eat. I haven't eaten yet. I should probably shower. Should probably like do some normal stuff. I just kind of got right off work, got right on here because hang out with you guys. Again, the 8-10 people who've been here, thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate you guys. Again, it's not my normal day or whatever. You're taking time out of your weekend of some kind, Friday, Saturday, whatever, to like come hang out. I really appreciate that. We're gonna get out of here though before the next string of ads come, because that's just lame, and Twitch cannot have your eyes. I'm not giving them your eyes for another ad, okay? But thanks for staying for the demo. Thanks for staying for the talk. We'll be back Tuesday. Again, if I'm bored on the weekend, I think I have some stuff I have to do, but if we're bored, I'll probably hop on. I don't know, we'll do some games, or we'll hack, or we'll do Portswigger Labs, or whatever. Otherwise, we'll definitely be back on Tuesday to do another stream. Tell your friends, tell your family, sub to the channel, follow the channel, Twitter, Discord. I think those are basically the main ones. YouTube, yeah, check out the YouTube channel. Right now it's been all VoDs, but again, the IPv4 scanning, I'm gonna make a video on it here in a second once I finish the most recent scan, so I have the most recent results as far as like count and stuff like that. It is running as we speak, homies, as we speak. And that will be the next actual video on the YouTube channel that's not just a rerun or a VoD. Otherwise, you either have to be subbed to the channel to see the VoDs or go to YouTube. Hell yeah. But that's all for me. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy your night, morning, whatever. Thanks for hanging out. Peace. A dog is